Ladies and gentlemen, behold the grand exit, the one twist they never saw coming, the sudden shift that shattered their carefully built illusion into dust. You, the one they believed they had under control, flipped the entire story on its head, leaving them stunned, gasping, scrambling for any shred of control. They truly thought you would stay, tolerate, accept their disrespect, like it was your role to play. But oh, how terribly wrong they were. You handed them something they could never predict, the final checkmate, and now their once perfect tale is nothing but the ruins of their own design. They assumed you were fragile, didn't they? That your love was a leash? Something they could yank whenever it suited them. They pushed, they pulled, they played their petty games, believing you would always be there, always endure. But love, a real love, isn't weakness. No, love is pure power, and it takes the strongest kind of heart to walk away when you've poured every last drop of yourself into someone unworthy. That's the lesson they never grasped. They mistook your kindness for submission, your patience for foolishness. Fools, every one of them. And now look at them, lost, dazed, spinning in circles as they try to piece together what went wrong. They truly believed they were the puppeteer, the master pulling your strings, deciding your every move. But you were never their puppet. You were always the silent observer, the strategist, the quiet storm gathering force just beyond their sight. And when you finally walked away, it hit them like a tidal wave, crushing, overwhelming. They're left with nothing but confusion, because this was the ending they never saw coming. In their arrogance, they truly believed you'd always stay, that no matter how far they pushed, you'd be there waiting. But you didn't, and that's exactly what makes your departure so poetic. Oh, they'll scramble now, trying to rewrite the story, casting themselves as the poor victim, the one caught off guard. They'll spin their sob stories for anyone willing to listen. But deep down they know they pushed too hard, crossed too many lines, and most of all, they underestimated you again and again. And now they're paying for it, because your absence isn't just noticeable, it's monumental. It's a void they can't escape, a silence that cuts deeper than any words ever could. It's almost laughable, isn't it? How they thought they could trample over your heart, treat you like an afterthought, and still expect you to come running whenever they called. They thought their weak apologies, their hollow promises would be enough to keep you tied down. But you saw through it all. You pierced through the lies, the manipulation, the endless cycles. And instead of staying to repair what was never truly yours to fix, you chose yourself, you chose your worth, you chose freedom. And that's what terrifies them the most. Because people like them, they survive on control. They thrive on making others feel small, feeding off imbalance to feel powerful. But the moment you walked away, you took everything from them. You shattered their illusion, exposed the rot beneath their carefully crafted facade. And now they stand alone, vulnerable, powerless, a shell of the person they pretended to be. Your departure wasn't just a twist in their story, it was their downfall, their undoing. Oh, and let's not forget the cruel irony in all of this. They thought they were the ones playing the game, the ones who always thought they were ahead of the game, always scheming, always manipulating. They truly believed they held every card. But the real ace, it was always in your hand. And when you finally played it, they didn't just lose the game, they lost you. And that's the kind of loss no one walks away from untouched. Now every single day they open their eyes, they're haunted by the reality they built themselves. They replay every word they used to cut you down, every betrayal they thought they could hide, every moment they chose to take you for granted. They see you now stronger, brighter, untouchable, and it eats them alive, because somewhere deep down they know the truth. They'll never find another you. People like you, rare souls, don't come twice, and they feel that now. But let's not waste our sympathy, shall we? Because the truth is, they had their chance. They held the privilege of your love, your loyalty, your steady presence, and they threw it away like it meant nothing. They treated you like you were disposable, easily replaced. And now they sit with nothing but the bitter taste of regret. Because no matter who enters their life next, no matter how many faces they turn to, everyone will fall short. Every laugh, every touch, every connection, it will never measure up. You, my dear, you became the standard, the one they'll always remember, while the rest fade into meaningless shadows. Your kindness, your quiet strength, your grace, it's carved into their memory, a reminder they can't outrun. And the beauty of it, you never had to lift a finger. You didn't scream, you didn't chase. Your silence, your absence, did all the speaking for you. And that absence, let's talk about it. It's not just the physical space you left behind, it's the emptiness that fills every corner of their life now. The absence of your love, your steady hand, your light. And without it, they're left standing in the cold, drowning in the void of everything they lost, stumbling blindly now, desperate to recreate the warmth you gave so effortlessly. But they can't, because what you offered wasn't forced, it came straight from the heart, from a place of real care, of pure compassion. And that kind of magic, it can't be copied. So let them drown in their regret. Let them sink in their self-made misery. None of it is yours to carry anymore. Your only mission now is to move forward, to keep building the life you truly deserve. Because you've already won. The day you turned your back, the moment you chose yourself, you claimed your victory. And nothing, not their bitterness, not their sorrow, can ever steal that from you. But let's peel back the layers of this tragic masterpiece, shall we? Because it's in the aftermath where the real truths come crashing in. The second they grasp just how colossal their loss was, that's when the weight truly settles. It becomes a lifelong sentence, a burden they'll drag through every day that follows. You see, your departure wasn't just a moment, it was a reckoning, a collapse of everything they took for granted. Now they sit alone, haunted by every careless word, every selfish choice. Every time they made you feel small crashes over them now, wave after wave, an inescapable storm. It's poetic, really, the justice of it. They thought they could treat you carelessly, never once imagining they'd face the cost. But now, those consequences, they loom over them, relentless, inescapable. It's almost laughable how they mistook your patience for weakness. They truly believed you'd stay no matter how deep the cuts, no matter how sharp the betrayals. What they missed was the quiet power inside you, the silent decision that was growing stronger with every word they flung, every game they played. They were too blind to notice the fire quietly building inside you, a fire that in time burned through every chain they ever tried to bind you with. And now they're left alone, sifting through the cold ashes of what they destroyed. They'll tell themselves stories, convincing their minds it wasn't their fault. They'll twist the truth, paint themselves as the victim in the tale, but deep down, in those silent moments when no one's around to hear their lies, they'll know. Oh, they'll know. They'll remember that they had something precious, something rare, and they crushed it with their own careless hands. And that knowledge, that's the punishment they'll never outrun. Because here's the truth, they were too arrogant to see. People like you don't come twice. You're not just rare, you're once in a lifetime. And they discarded you as if they'd have another chance. But life doesn't work that way. Now, as they stumble through the emptiness, desperately trying to fill the void your absence carved into their world, they'll come to the cold realization you were irreplaceable. And every false substitute they chase will only sharpen the memory of what they let slip through their fingers. Oh, they'll try to reach out. Sooner or later, regret will tear through their pride. The silence will get too loud, the weight of their own choices too heavy. But by the time they come crawling back, hoping, begging for a second chance, you'll be long gone, too far ahead, too deeply rooted in your own strength, your own happiness. And their words, they'll sound like distant echoes from a story you've already closed. And here's the twist they never imagined. You don't need closure from them. You don't need their apology, their explanation, their recognition. You don't need anything, because the moment you chose yourself, you won. Because your healing was never about them, it's always been about you, about the strength you dug out from the depths of your own soul, about the love you finally learned to pour back into yourself. And that's untouchable. That's something no one can steal or shatter. But let's be honest, there's a quiet satisfaction in their regret, isn't there? Not because you're bitter, not because you seek revenge, but because it stands as living proof that you were never the problem, proof that your worth was never in question, even if they were too blind to recognize it. Their regret is the universe's way of whispering, see, you were right all along. They'll scramble, of course. They'll throw themselves into endless distractions, into work, into new faces, into anything that numbs the emptiness your absence carved into their life. But those distractions, they're fleeting. And when the noise dies down, when the world goes still and they're left alone with their own mind, that's when the truth will sink its claws deep. They'll feel it then, the crushing weight of their own choices, the sharp sting of every mistake they made. And they'll whisper, what if? But what if is a question they'll never get to answer. You, though, you don't need that question. You don't live in the shadows of what if, because you already know. You know that walking away was the greatest decision you ever made. It was your act of self-respect, your declaration of self-love. It was the day you pulled your power back into your own hands, the day you reminded yourself who you truly are. And that a power they will never be able to touch, never be able to undo. And as for their clumsy attempts to move on, let's just call it what it is, a losing game. Because every person they meet, every new connection they chase will never hold a candle to what they lost when they let you go. Not because those people won't have value, but because their hearts will always be tethered to you. You'll be the measure, the standard by which they'll compare everyone else, the one they'll quietly ache for even when they won't admit it. And that, my dear, is the weight they'll carry forever. Meanwhile, you'll be flourishing, building a life so rich, so full, so radiant that they could never have imagined it. You'll create happiness that doesn't hinge on another soul, find joy in places they never thought to seek. And when they catch a glimpse of you, shining, rising, unstoppable, they'll feel it, that sharp, cutting sting of regret that bites deep, and they'll know with aching clarity that they're the ones who lost. So let them spin their stories. Let them craft their delusions, whisper their excuses to themselves, just to make it through another empty day. Because the truth always catches up. And when it does, it won't be gentle. It'll hit them like a runaway train. The cold, brutal realization that they weren't just a footnote in your story. They were the very reason you rose, the catalyst that turned your pain into power. And as for them, well, their story is theirs to write. But let's not sugarcoat it. It's a tragedy, a cautionary tale of what happens when you play games with something real, when you mistake someone's love for their weakness. They'll spend years chasing shadows, trying to fill the space you left, trying to patch them, holes their own hands ripped open, but it'll be in vain, because they held the real thing, the rare, beautiful, genuine thing, and they let it slip through their fingers like dust. So here's to you, to your strength, to your courage, to the way you rose from the ashes of what they tried to break, to the plot twist that left them staggering and you soaring, because in the end you didn't just make it through, you thrived, and that's the sweetest victory of all.